Hey guys, I'm Amy May, and as most of you probably know, I've lost 80 pounds using the help of Mounjaro since April 2024. Recently, I've been making compilation videos of my Mounjaro journey so far over the past 18 months, and it's kind of got me thinking. It's made me reflect on how far I've come, but also how my body's changed in the way that I feel about it. So I'll put a link to the playlist of the compilation videos if you want to check that out. I've also not been to the gym in about 2 months. At first it's because it was cold and dark and I just couldn't do it. But then, as some of you may know, basically I've got a slip disc and a drop foot. That's been about 5 weeks now. And so I'm waiting on a scan and I'm waiting to see some specialists about that. So I've not been to the gym in about 2 months. So not only have I not been getting the positive endorphins from the gym, but also I've not weighed myself, because I weigh myself at the gym. And granted, since I've hit maintenance, I haven't been weighing myself that much. I've just sort of been checking in from time to time, to see the trend, see if it's upwards, whatever. So I haven't been able to weigh myself, which this is probably the longest I've not weighed myself for since I started Mounjaro. But it's kind of good that I've been able to deal with that, and I've not been getting in my head about it. But as I mentioned in one of my recent videos, I've gone sober for a bit, flirting with sobriety. So today is day 64, but since I quit alcohol, honestly, my sugar cravings have been through the roof, which apparently is normal when you stop drinking alcohol, but I've not stopped eating chocolate. So not only have I not been exercising, but I've also been eating. So I do feel a bit grotty. And bleh. Because obviously I poo better when I eat right. So today we're going to talk about body image, my loose skin, my insecurities, and how I see myself. Now, obviously I've lost a lot of weight. I've lost 80 pounds in about 18 months, which I think is about 5.5 stone or 36 kilograms. Throughout my journey so far, I've been very open about my concerns about loose skin, and I've also shown you guys my loose skin at different stages of my Mounjaro journey. Now, if you've been watching me for a while and you're one of my diehards, then you'll know that I've been fat my whole life. I grew up fat, and for as long as I can remember, I've either been on a diet or some sort of weight loss journey. And I still carry the scars from that. My life before starting Mounjaro was one big before and after. With all the after pictures, I was fatter than I was before. And we all know the story. I know I keep going on about it, about when I got weighed in primary school when I was 10, and they told me mum I was obese and she cried. So I've been there, done that, messed around in terms of weight loss journeys and all the rest of it. But part of me being fat my whole life, part of me going on so many diets and yo-yoing, losing weight, gaining more weight, my skin has been tested. The elasticity of my skin has been tested. And so obviously it's difficult for my skin now to adhere to my new body and to sort of stretch back, because it's been tried and tested. So obviously after losing 80 pounds, I am going to have some loose skin. I've mentioned before, about 6 years ago now, I lost about 50, 60 pounds, and I started noticing loose skin on my arms and on my stomach around then. So I've had it for a good while, but obviously I do now have more noticeable loose skin given the amount that I've lost. I don't know if taking collagen supplements would have helped throughout the journey. I mean, I don't think it would have hurt, but I'm not convinced it would have made a massive difference. And the amount of loose skin people tend to get appears to be person dependent. Because I've seen on the internet and on TikTok and stuff, some people that have lost more weight than me and they don't really have any loose skin. So obviously it's multifactorial, I love that word, and it really just depends. It depends on the hand you've been dealt. I've mentioned in quite a few videos throughout my journey that my stomach, my former apron belly, is one of my biggest insecurities, if not the biggest insecurity. But I'd obviously take the loose skin a million times over rather than still have that stomach, that apron belly, and the self-loathing. Because I hated myself. I had no self-confidence, no self-esteem, felt worthless. I hated myself. So yes, I've got loose skin that at certain angles, and I will show you the angles, I really don't like, but I'd take it any day, hands down. I think the place that I'm most self-conscious about loose skin is my stomach. I've mentioned my saggy belly button before, and obviously at rest, when I'm stood up at rest, it's not that noticeable. You can tell that I've got a deformed belly button, but it's not hugely announcing itself. However, when I bend over or when I sit down, it really makes itself known. It comes to town, it announces, and that is what I'm really self-conscious about. So I'll put some videos on the screen. I really went hard to show you all the angles here. So as you can see, when I sort of bend over, it's really noticeable. Like the apron hangs down and it's kind of like not a bum, but like there's two distinct folds of loose skin that hang down and with like a line in the middle. Yeah, so that is kind of a big insecurity for me. Obviously, I'd take it any day over being obese and miserable, but it does sort of make itself known. And then obviously when I stand up, you can see the deformed belly button, but unless I'm like yanking it about, it's not too noticeable. I do have loose skin on my arms, as you can see, but again, I think it's less noticeable than my stomach, and my stomach is my huge insecurity, because recently I've been browsing, I've been window shopping, looking for some new jeans to buy for Black Friday, and I do want some low-rise jeans. However, when I tried some on in the shop, I'll see if I can find a video, some of them, just the way they sit, it just depends where they sit on me, but it kind of like bunches up the loose skin and makes it more noticeable and makes it worse. But I do really want some low-rise jeans, because obviously before I'd have never dreamt of it, but when I've been looking, I think it really just depends where they sit on me, so I need to be careful, because I don't think, although obviously I'm showing you guys every angle, my stomach and everything, I don't think I would be confident enough to wear the low-rise jeans if it did sort of enhance the belly scrunch and make my deformed belly button more obvious. Because I've tried on some before, they were far too long for me. Again, I'll see if I can find a video, but I did really like them, but they were just ridiculously long, because obviously I'm short, so it's more difficult. But yeah, I get a lot of people asking how I see myself after losing weight, and that's something that really fluctuates. Sometimes I look in the mirror and I can appreciate how far I've come, but then other times it's a lot more difficult. It's like there are different versions of me, because I'm still that person that was 188 pounds. I'm still her inside. I don't know how to describe it. It's like there's different versions of me at different weights that all exist at once. And it is very strange to think that if you met me now, post weight loss, you wouldn't know unless I told you or you found my channel. That is strange to think, because in my mind, I know I talk about being thin presenting, skinny presenting, and I stand by that, because, you know, I am still that girl that was 188 pounds. My experiences haven't changed. Being fat affected my whole life. I grew up fat, you know, I was bullied, I had no self-confidence, and that in itself had an impact on the choices that I made and the sort of things that I would allow myself to put up with. And that hasn't changed. Yes, I've lost 80 pounds, but I am still that girl. I still have the scars from growing up fat, from all sorts of different experiences. I hated myself. Obviously now I'm a lot more confident, I'm a lot happier, and, you know, I have started to learn to like myself and have self-respect. But, you know, that doesn't erase the past 20 odd years, if that makes sense. So it's difficult, because I can appreciate how far I've come. And I think probably on the outside, I probably am nicer to be around now, because obviously I was miserable. I hated myself. Just, it wasn't going well. But obviously now I'm a lot happier and now I'm a lot more confident. That probably shows, and I probably radiate a better energy. So I'm probably nicer to be around. So yeah, it's really difficult. It is really difficult, because I am still her. She is me. We are one. And like I said, it is like this, you know, different versions of me at all the different weights that are currently existing within me. And so I do see how far I've come, but it can be tricky. And at times, although I say there's different versions of myself, at times it is like I'm a different person. It's weird. It's like we're one and the same, but we're separate. I don't really know how to describe it, because she is me, and she will always be me, because it still happened. You know, I was still 188 pounds, and like I said, it affected my entire life, and that still happened. That doesn't go away just because I've lost 80 pounds. If you are interested in seeing my Mounjaro journey, then I've got a playlist. I'll put a link up the top. I've started a new compilation series. Part 4 is going to be out this week. But if you want to watch the other 3 parts, I'll put a link to that, because that's, obviously I've been documenting my journey since April 2024 on YouTube, and I'm glad that I have, because it's given me sort of like before pictures to look back at, and at times when I'm struggling, it's made me really appreciate the progress that I've made. But obviously, if you don't want to go back through 18 months of videos, then I've started a Mounjaro compilation series, which I'll put a link to if you want to check that out. So yeah, part 4 is coming this week. And also at some point I'm going to film a Q&A video. So if you've got any questions, just let me know. And I hope everyone has an amazing week.